What's up guys, Phoenix here. This video is going to be another DevPro duel video in Ranked, and this time I'm going to be playing with the Dragunity Beatrice Turbo deck one more time at least, and I'm just going to be going over the deck list, at least showing you the deck list one more time so we can keep in a consistent basis with you guys knowing what this deck is meant to be doing. Now, I went over this a little bit more in depth in the previous video I did, but the entire purpose of this deck is to use Beatrice, make as many Beatrices turn 1 as possible through some choice 2 and 3 card combinations of card plays, and make as many Beatrices as possible because it is a trap and it also is a floater. If they are dealt with in form of being destroyed, they float into Virgil, which fuels more rank 6 plays, and they float into Dante, Pilgrim of the Burning Abyss, to be a non-targetable threat, but them functioning on the board as trap cards in the form of sending Blaze Slayer or Reload from deck to grave and using that with scatter shots, as well as being able to send Farfa, Alec, and Shadal Dragon, allow you to heavily interact with your opponent on their turn, and then when it gets back to your turn, you ideally were going to try and kill them because you have floaters and you have just a bunch of like extra deck boss monster threats that you have access to. So that's pretty much all I'm going to say about it. It's literally just card combination. The deck Primitive Butterfly is a card that some people didn't know about. It is a level 5 insect type. It's kind of like a Speedroid Terratop. You special summon it, and then once per turn you can increase the level of all insects by 1. So you special summon it for free as a level 5 when you control no monsters, and use its ability to make it a level 6. It's just a free level 6 special summon. Some people were curious about that. But other than that, I'm not going to go into any more detail about this deck. I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the ranked game or games, however many this video ends up having. Alright, so here comes the first, potentially only game. Who knows? I lost rock, paper, scissors. Hopefully he just lets me go first. A lot of people have just been letting me go first. Come on, am I going first? I'm going first, yes! Oh, and this hand is amazing. Whoa. I keep drawing this scatter shot for some reason. I have no idea why. Like, I keep drawing these cards, but at least I have something like Carbonetton as well, which actually just gets really decent, actually, because of the fact that I can actually discard it off of another Ravine. Yeah, alright. Seems pretty alright there. Let's see. If I add Ducks off of this, that's just a 1-card Beatrice, which that's actually, you know, relevant. I can make a 1-card Beatrice off of that. I can also, well, I can actually make 2 Beatrices. Interesting, because I'll be able to bounce Ravine and then use this thing's effect. Because Carbonetton, I'd rather have not drawn it, but it is usable because I can actually just discard it off of Ravine again. So there's that. So I can actually use Instant Fusion. I can use Instant Fusion on Norden to get back Phalanx to allow myself another Vajrayana access. It's probably not the best line of play, but we're going to go with it just because it allows me to get this Carbonetton out of my hand, and that's actually what I would like to do right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add Griffin, discard Griffin, get Windor, and then I'll be able to make Beatrice and send the Zephyros to grave, which will then allow me to go bouncing Ravine, ditching. I can make Vajrayana plus another 6. Yeah. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to do our multiple Beatrice play here. And it's going to get the Carbonetton out, it's going to set up Malicious, it's going to do a lot of nonsense. So, we'll activate this to send Zephyros, and that will just start setting us up for everything that we're trying to do. And then I'll be able to send Malicious off the next one. I'm not going to be able to get a Harpist search because I'm literally going to search the other ducks here. So that's going to be what is going to be the limiting factor of this. I'm not going to just send Harpist, so I'm going to have one Beatrice that's like loaded up with 2 materials, basically, is going to be the case, because the only other dragon target in my deck is literally what I summon off Carbonetton, so I don't want to send it to grave, if that makes sense. So yeah, we'll just add the ducks to the hand, Carbonetton goes to grave, ducks to hand, and I'll be able to Instant Fusion Norden, get the flanks back, make Deloran Vajrayana, and that will make another Beatrice, which will put Malicious in grave, and then Carbonetton gets Wattail Dragon out, which and then the Malicious floats for itself, and that's the 3rd Beatrice. So that's that. So then I'll have 3 Beatrice, and I have the ducks loaded for next turn. I'll have all of my card interactions set in stone and ready to go. Make the Vajrayana first so that the Phalanx gets recurred and can be used with the Norden to go into Deloran. Might actually use the Deloran to bounce the Ravine just so it stays in hand, maybe. Who knows? I don't know what I want to do quite with that, but what I do get to do here is I can actually make Deloran, which is going to be necessary. Yeah, Deloran. And, well, is it necessary? I'm not quite sure. I don't know. It's more Beatrice is typically just better than any other of the options. So this Beatrice will send Mally, and then I'll have a Mally still loaded up as well, which is actually just really cool. The fact that I'll have another Mally left in the deck after this play resolves is really, really going to be what's cool and neat. I kind of wish this deck ran another dragon. That might end up being like the 43rd card, just so that like I could have sent something and I could have gotten a Harpist to get a plus, but it would have been actually the same number of cards anyway, so I don't know why I'm actually like stressing about it. But I will make this Beatrice, and yeah, I think that's everything. I could, like, the thing is, if I didn't have to get this extra ducks right here, I could actually just send Harpist, and then Harpist would get a search for this ducks in the end phase. But as it stands, I think I'm fine with this. Just triple Beatrice. I mean, it's overall a +1 in terms of the play that I made anyway, because I started with 5 and now I have 6. But I'm going to take a -1 because I keep drawing these fucking scatter shots. So there is that. What is going to happen here is that I'm not going to use Beatrice to send Alec until I see a -1, because I'm just going to have to use it on the -1, and then I'm going to Blaze Accelerator reload his entire board away. And this is what I was saying about doing stuff about making plays that make it to where your opponent doesn't know that you're going to be sending Blaze Accelerator reload. That's what I was basically saying about that. But I'm going to send Alec here, so that Alec negates the -1 so that he can't banish, or so he can't bounce any of my things. There's actually a neat little interaction I could have done there as well, where when he activated -3, I could have sent Alec, that would have resolved and normal summoned this, and then Alec would have triggered, I could have negated its additional normal summon, but I wanted to get all the cards out of his hand. So there's that. So now I'm going to hold down A, so that when he tries to move to battle phase, he's going to try to attack me directly with this. End of main phase, yes, I'm going to use this ability. I'm going to send the Blaze Accelerator reload, and I'm going to immediately activate it. And that's what I was talking about in the previous video, where I was like, I don't want to put Blaze Accelerator reload into the grave at any point until I'm just about to use it, because if your opponent can see it, then they can play around it. So I prefer to make it to where they cannot physically play around it because they don't see it. If they play around it, then they're just next leveling me. But like, see there, I just get to Raigeki his field for free, do 1500 damage to him, and one of these Beatrices still has its effect live, so I can use Farfa or Dragon on his end phase if he sets a card. And like, if he sets something and passes, see, I get to just as soon as his Norden comes out, I get to Farfa it. Do I want to Farfa the Norden and it come back, or do I want to Farfa the, let's see. I can Farfa as soon as this hits the board, and that'll remove the Norden and banish the -3. So there's that as an option, but I could also just banish the Xyz, but like the Xyz that he summons is going to be like Castell or something, or it could potentially just be something that's larger than Norden, so I'd rather just go ahead and do this now. It just seems more economical because the Norden at this point will leave the board and the -3 will go away. So we'll just do that. Like, we're just literally tons of traps. That's all we're doing. Summoning traps. Summoning traps all over the place. And so now his Norden comes back. At this point, I can just turn all these to attack mode and hit him, but I don't think that's going to be the best line of play. Strictly because I could make something like Goyo King. And if I do make Goyo King here and I take his Norden, then that's really cool. that's my only reasoning, is that if I take it and it resolves, it's really cool. But otherwise, so we'll do this. I still have a Vajrayana left too, I believe I do. But this will bait back row as well. Macrocosmos. Damn, really glad I went first. Really glad you let me go first. Hey, team player. Yo, alright, so I can't make Goyo King now because I'm literally going to be banishing the Phalanx, so it doesn't even make sense to make Vajrayana, other than the fact that making Vajrayana keeps this in there. Does this have to, it has to be sent to the graveyard to float. That's going to be a slight issue, but so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this Vajrayana, right? And then I'm going to banish for this malicious, just so I have more bodies on the board, because I can just do that. And I'm going to leave the Beatrice as a material on it in defense mode, and I'm going to turn these two to attack mode, because this could still send... I could have actually chained this and sent Dragon to grave. What am I doing with my life? I completely missed the fact that I could have done that. I could have just chained this to the Macrocosmos, it wouldn't have resolved, I could have sent Dragon, popped the other back row, and then I would be having guaranteed game here, instead of having to play this scared game, this game of me not knowing what I could potentially, like, do. Like, that's a problem. Hopefully this is just nothing, because if it's nothing, I get rewarded for it, because this is game by itself. Because this and that is 27, and that's 25, and he's at 5k, so it's like 200 over game. So we'll just mess with it this way. I guess this is good enough. But yeah, that was a potentially crippling misplay on my part. I should have chained this, sent Dragon to grave, popped that. The Macrocosmos doesn't matter because it's not stopping me from killing him. But yeah, that's the literal entire purpose of this deck, is literally just to make as many Beatrices turn 1 as possible and try to use them to keep your opponent from playing the game, clear the board with Blaze Accelerator Reload and Scattershot plays, and then just get it on into the next turn where you just get to kill him. That's literally the most perfect... This is probably one of the most perfect representations of what this deck is specifically supposed to do that I have ever actually played and or filmed. So I'm just going to leave it here. This video is self-contained enough. So anyway, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to all the nonsense you usually do. Deck list is back on the screen again in case you want to take another look at it and do all that stuff and just try it out. I mean, go for it. It's a really gimmicky but really fun deck. And like I said, its Cosmo matchup isn't great, but that could probably be changed in the future. I'm not quite sure. It depends on how good Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon and how accessible it ends up being for the entire Dragunity theme as well as this particular deck, because this deck definitely has a much more tight extra deck in terms of what you have that you're trying to play. But other than that, if you want to support me, clicking ads on my videos and disabling ad block when you view them is more than sufficient. Can't express how much it helps me nor how much it would be appreciated. So if you feel like doing that, definitely go for it. I literally cannot express, as I've already said, how much it helps me out. But other than that, that's all for this video, and as always, guys, take care.